Alright, ladies, gentlemen, and kids, thanks to Chaparral Motorsports here in San Bernardino, California, in KTM, North America. Today I will be taste testing the KTM 1090 Adventure-R. Basically, this is their somewhat of an entry-level adventure touring bike, so a little bit a step below compared to the 1290s. Okay, while we're waiting, ergonomics check. I am 6'3", 200 to 220 pounds. The pegs are touching my calf part. As you can see right here, it's touching it over here. And I'm not completely flat-footed. My heel is elevated by this much. For shorter riders, take note. Here we go. This 1090R is equipped with knobbies. So this bike, you can go off-road with it if you wanted to. And this is also a step up to the 690 Enduro-R at some degree. Besides the pegs hitting on my shin, everything seems to be really tactile. The side mirrors are standard fare KTM. Almost every KTM bikes have the same side mirror like this. It sounds nice, and this bike is also easy to be put on neutral. Gear changes in this bike is pretty easy. That's what I said on my previous KTM motorcycle reviews. Everything you touch on this bike is so light and tactile. Wow! It has that kick too. It's not as ferocious as the 1290s, but it feels just right. It doesn't intimidate you, doesn't scare you like the 1290 does. Of course, it feels a lot lighter than the 1290s, but it's not as intimidating to ride. It doesn't feel as bulky as the V-Strom 1000. And right now we're in the streets of San Bernardino, California right now. It handles the bumps really good. Typical adventure touring. Rev matching is pretty good. The throttle mapping is really smooth. I'm not so sure if this is a rev by wire, but it feels like it isn't. It doesn't have that herky-jerky throttle feel. I like the power. I like the power delivery. It doesn't feel scary. The vibrations is minimal to my handlebars. On my butt and on my leg, it's perfect. I don't feel those irritating vibrations in the bike. The pickup is very nice. I like it. It feels like I'm riding a rougher version of the FJ09. It has that pickup that I like. It doesn't scare me. The rear brakes is a little bit mushy, but it's still direct. You can still feel the pad getting in contact with each other, with the disc, of course. The front brakes, on the other hand, has that play, a very long play actually. But once you feel that it's grabbing, it does its job. It's very direct once you get in contact to it. The clutch, the gear lever has that it grabs closer to when you release the lever. As you progressively release it, you just have to be careful to release it a little bit more gently and slowly so you can get it. But once you shift fast, it won't be an issue. This 1090 is just, I'm not seeing any much of bad things about it. In fact, if the super adventure models are too expensive or a little too intimidating to ride, sure, they're stupid fun. They can kick your groin right away. This one is a little bit more approachable to more riders. I also kept on hearing that everyone loves the 1190 version of this bike, but that was long gone already. I never got the chance to ride the 1190. Low speed ability is pretty good. Even with knobby tires, I can still hold ground with it. Everything in this bike is a little bit more basic compared to the Super Duke version. I think if I compare this to the Africa Twin, on which is somewhat directly competes with, I think I kind of like this bike better compared to the Africa Twin, even despite it's a little bit more expensive than the Africa Twin. But one thing that wins me with the KTM over the Africa Twin is simply because the gauges are so readable. I can just glance down and see what I'm doing right away. And when I rode the Africa Twin, I kind of felt uninspired riding that bike. I know that bike is awesome to go. Oh, what the hell, that car almost hit our lead ride. Oh, that was close. As you can see, the gauges is just well laid out right over here. You got your tach right here, although it doesn't have the red spots where's the red line at. But I think this part right here, you don't see that much from here, but I think that lights up once you hit the red line. The speedometer is very legible, a little basic, which is I like. Everything that you need is right over there. And it has those instrument panel over here on your left. It has the same design as the Super Duke GT and the Adventure T. It's so easy to rev match this bike. It falls into the right power band every time you downshift. Of course, right nowadays, everyone is drooling on the Africa Twin because of its excellent marketing. Personally, I'm not feeling that bike. I'm very comfortable. I have the same ergonomics as a Africa Twin, although it kind of feels that the bars is a little narrower compared to the Africa Twin. In fact, it feels like I'm riding a smaller bike compared to the Africa Twin. Sure, it's stupidly tall. It's a little taller on the inseam side compared to the Africa Twin, but that's a little bit smaller price for a little inconvenience by hitting my shins a bit to ride a better bike. See, even at low revs, I'm chugging along. No issues at all. It's getting really chilly here in San Bernardino. Unfortunately, I got here late for this demo ride, so I didn't get much around this event. But just to test ride a bike, I'll go great lengths to ride a different bike. Cruising at 40 miles an hour, it's a very comfortable bike to ride. I like it. It's not annoying. It's easy to ride. I like it. It feels solid. It's rewarding. It's a very rewarding bike to ride. There's a drop of fun in this bike compared to the Africa Twin. Of course, some naysayers will tell me that, oh, ride it off-road. Okay, I gotta give you that. But right now, I'm not going off-road. It leads very nice. Slow, just a typical adventure touring bike. It does its job. It's a little top heavy, like most adventure touring bikes. It picks up really easily. No joke. Not as ferocious as the 1290s. Of course. Wow, it's getting to be really windy right now. Oh, by the way, that windscreen right there, it's doing a pretty good job right now. I'm not having that much wind buffeting through my helmet. I still get some wind buffeting on my chest, but not on my helmet, which is good. I don't mind about a little wind in my chest, even in cooler weathers like this. It's not popping my helmet too much. Pretty damn impressive. I don't know what height does this windscreen have. I'm pretty impressed. For a small windscreen like this, covering my helmet this much. No bobblehead feel. One thing to point out on this bike is just the switchgear kind of feels a little bit budget, especially the turn signal like this. It's not the same. Yeah, the gear lever is a little bit recessed too much. It's hitting the windscreen too. Let's see how this bike leans. Very, very nice. That V-twin, I think it's a V-twin. It's very nice. I like it. It's so immersive. It delivers the same joy like I'm riding the FJ09 and the Super Duke series. It doesn't feel sterile at all. For a entry-level bike, I'm very impressed. Sure, it's heavy. It's in an upper 400-pound range, but it's I'm impressed. It feels like a FJ09 or MT09 or 900 Tracer that you can go off-road with no problems. It's the best of both worlds at some degree. Look at that. That's sweet. Dad and son going for a ride. That's fatherhood right there. Awesomeness. One thing to point out also on this bike, there's a little pocket for you to put whatever stuff you have there. You can put an optional power outlet over here. You can go whatever you want here. I can put it into sport mode. There you go. I'm on sport mode. Let's see how this bike really goes. Earlier I was doing in street mode. I can feel the sensitivity of its throttle right now. Good thing about this bike too is you can also see the air temp gauge right now, the day-to-day. It also has an oil temperature gauge, but for some reason it's not set at the moment. It has the voltmeter too, so that's pretty handy. You can set your menus to the way you want it to in your favorites mode. So right now I just adjusted its throttle setting to sport, so on the street mode it's basically perfect for commuting or whatever you're trying to do with this bike. Another thing, just like the Africa Twin, this doesn't have cruise control, which is somewhat of a bummer, but it is how it is. If you want a cruise control, step up to the Super Adventure versions. I can also say right now, this is one of the most fun adventure touring bikes I've ridden so far. Of course, this is not in the same league as the R1200s or the Super Adventures, but I can gauge this against the Africa Twin and the V-Strom 1000. I don't have a recording on that particular bike, but I've ridden it. It feels like an SUV, basically. It won't do extraordinary or on anything, but it gets the job done for your long distance and commuting needs. And that bike also doesn't have a cruise control too. One motorcycle that I forgot to mention is the Super Tenere Yamaha. Well, that bike, it acts more like of a parallel version of the R1200, and it's not as fun to ride as this bike. When you own a motorcycle, in my opinion, you gotta have a little bit of fun on certain bikes. It's not just a utilitarian bike that you need. You need a bike that will make you smile, joy, appreciate life. You know, that's why I like the XR. I like the Super Duke series. I like the R1200 too. Of course, I like the Z900 also. All bikes that are fun. Same goes with cars. If it's fun to drive, that's your car. Doesn't matter what purpose it is. It doesn't matter if it's a crossover or a truck. As long as it's fun to drive, that's all that matters. You will value that vehicle and motorcycle more than any other motorcycle that you see out there. Despite I'm just doing a test course like right now, I'm having fun. That's what you say on the bike. If you're just having fun on a guided tour like this, that says a lot on a bike. Especially you have a very, very short time period riding bikes like these. I'm not in a publication or whatsoever that they get to keep their bikes for one freaking day or one freaking week or a month. I don't have that privilege. I get whatever I just to ride a bike like this. I hunt for demo days. That's what I do. That's what I would like to share to everyone. So easy to lean. So easy to lean. Ooh, a juicy route. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now we're getting at it now. Very awesome. Such a fun bike. Look at this. I'm limited to my abilities, but I feel like a pro in this bike. Wow! Very nice. Oh, very nice. This is very fun. This is one of the best test routes I've ever been to. Oh well, of course I'm in California, duh. Everything is fun in California. beautiful sight. Love those clouds too. I feel like a hero right now. Yeah, I feel like a hero right now with this bike. Awesome test route area. It's a very nice bike, sorry. That guy in the Super Duke S is just having so much fun unleashing that V-twin. That scary V-twin. I got a milder V-twin, so I hope you can understand that. I'm just very impressed. On the middle adventure touring, I'll pick this. I'll pick this over the Africa Twin or the V-Strom. I wonder how this bike rides on the S, guys. I'm riding the Adventure-R version, so I'm ready to have this much fun in an Adventure-R. What more if I rode the Adventure S? I bet the Adventure S will give me a little bit more secure cornering ability compared to the knobbies that this bike has. Whoa, whoa, brakes are very effective. Stupid, my helmet keeps on fogging. It's okay. I'm also a budget rider too, so I got this helmet used. So can't complain. Can't complain. I won't complain. The wind guards on my hands, the handguards, it's not like a barkbuster unit. It's more just designed to warm up your hands. It's more designed for against the wind. It's more designed to that. It's not a barkbuster that has an aluminum shielding. One thing to make sure, once you're using the sport setting, the sport throttle setting, you gotta anticipate its power at some point, its acceleration. It's not as lazy as the street version or even the rain version. You just have to anticipate it. It's not as abrupt as the Yamaha drive-by-wire system. It's not. It's a lot more smoother. But you just have to anticipate it because it's overly sensitive. This city route, I sit commandingly high. I can see everything. I can even stand here. But unfortunately, if I stand, the handlebars are a little bit too low for me to stand up with, because I'm a tall guy. So yeah. Oh yeah, if you want to change modes on your throttle, you have to be completely stopped, not on the fly. Just to take note on that. And also, if you want to have a quick shifter on some, I think it's only the 1290, so I'm not gonna do that. Now the sun has come out, saying hi right now. Soaks up bumps really good. It has adjustable suspension too, adjustable front forks, and I think adjustable rear shocks. So just a little note of that. Of course, this is a KTM. A KTM, you got more things to tinker with in this bike. So far, I've never ridden a bad KTM yet, and this bike ranks a little bit up there. A little bit up there. It has low speeds. It doesn't feel as bulky. Just right. You can commute this bike in California. I don't know in Manila though. I think riding this bike in Manila is kind of pushing it. Of course, it's not as hulking as the 1290, but this bike is a little bit too big for riding in Manila. It might be the right size to most people, especially to the experienced ones. But for me, this might be a little too big for me to ride in Manila. But I'll still ride it. I don't care. Yeah, just riding a third gear here in side streets. It's pretty good. It's pretty docile if you want it. It's easy to ride on one hand. Usually I struggle riding one-handed on certain motorcycles. And if you're vertically challenged too, you can just use your one foot down and then one foot up. Just lean the bike just like this, and then you can be flat-footed. As what Cycle Cruiser says, doesn't matter if you're a short guy, you can still ride a motorcycle. I'm a tall guy, And I try to manage myself to ride on different types of motorcycles, like the R1 or the R3, for example. Once you get used to the controls on this bike, it's so easy to navigate it. Once you get used to it, it's easy to scroll through the old school menus. Now I think every KTM these days are transitioning to the new TFT gauges that they have right now. Started with the Super Adventure and the Super Duke R. And then now it's going to trickle down to the Super Duke GT. And maybe soon in the Adventure line too. Wow! What the hell? I didn't feel that bump. I didn't feel that pothole. Oh, this is a perfect Manila bike. It doesn't feel as bulky as the Africa Twin. That's what makes me happy about this bike. It's in the Africa Twin, I feel like I'm 5'9" in it. This bike, I feel like I'm back to normal again. It's not overly bulky like the Super Tenere 2 or even the GS. It's basically a smaller degree version of the 1290. Actually, the Africa Twin feels like I'm riding a lower powered 1290, which is weird. Yeah, it's very weird. This one feels smaller than the Africa Twin, and I like it. I like it a lot. One thing I noticed about this bike too, this bike has a smaller displacement version of its iconic LC8 engine. It's a 1090, but it's still an LC8 engine. Oh well, that's how KTM is. I'm not so sure. Alright, we're back here at Chaparral Motorsports here in San Bernardino, California, returning this bike. The ride has ended. I would like to give them a huge thanks for hosting this marvelous event. Yep, easy to stand in. There you go, there's Chaparral, and that's I think I-15 over there. So yahoo, low speed maneuvers is awesome. Alrighty, there's a parking spot. Okay, neutral, off, off. Kickstand, it's pretty easy to locate, dirt bike style. Since it's a tall bike, I'll just use my pegs to get out. Here you go, the Adventure-R. This thing is LEDs, I think, yeah, and it has that iconic WP suspension, some crash bar standard. Look at these knobbies, not as aggressive as the Enduro-R, but aggressive enough. I like the overall style of it. There's the LC8 1090 engine. It's a standard rack over here. I don't have much space to go around. You got enough space for your spouse, your partner, whatever. Very meaty handle here. A little bit step there. Ooh, meaty skid plate. That's good. I think that's a standard on the R. There you go. 2 thumbs up. 1090 Adventure-R. See you guys later.